December 2023, I had gone to film an object that was above the house. I had just recently purchased a new iPhone and was getting used to it after using Android for many years. I zoomed out too much accidentally and didn't have the right lens set, so everything was pretty dark when I went to film this object. I went to delete this footage a few weeks later as I was clearing up space, and I actually noticed there was something standing at the doorway of my office. When I zoomed in, I was actually quite surprised to see it is what appeared to be what I had been seeing at night time in my bedroom whilst I was having abduction style experiences while these sightings were going on all of last year. I had woken up one night to sounds coming out of the hallway, and when I looked into the darkness, my clock radio was quite bright. I could see a creature standing. It was so tall, it was bent over so it wouldn't hit the top of the ceiling. And it was staring right at me and moving. And my first sleepy thought was, that is really beautiful, as it was wearing what appeared to be white, almost like in the game Diablo, bone armor. That's the best way I can describe it. It was very intricate, almost like H.R. Geiger in design. It was so strange. But it definitely looked like a suit to me. It had tubes coming off of it. It had almost like a gas mask on the helmet. It had a large carapace as well, much like the alien in the movie Aliens. I know this sounds really weird, but yeah, this is exactly what it looked like. It had very skinny arms, very skinny legs, and very long fingers. When it walked, it tapped on the ground. Like it made like what Converse sound like what a skate shoe sounds like when it hits hard ground. It casually walked past the bed and down the hallway, and when I got up to check it out, there was nothing in the house at all. It was gone. So long story short, I had zoomed out on my new phone way too far. I was on the wrong lens. When I checked this footage, there was something there, and it gave me chills down my spine. Not just the fact that it was something there, but it looked exactly like what I had been seeing in my sleepy state. I was passing it off as almost a bad dream when these things were happening. So to catch it on video was very weird, a bit validating as well. It is scary as hell, and yet at the same time slightly amusing, some of these things. But I had one tapping on the window by my head while I was sleeping, and it was saying my name, and I swear it sounded so much like E.T. It was freaking me out, but it was saying my name perfectly in a raspy voice, tapping on the window. I think they wanted me to go outside. So now I'm glad I held up on making this video, as last Wednesday, for the first time I have ever heard of, is the Allagash UFO incident. And when I was watching the video, which I will leave a link for in the description, of these guys describing what had happened to them, they not only described the exact craft that I'm seeing and the way that they fold up and disappear, but they also described the exact beings I am seeing.
That beam shifted up into the sky at about a 45-degree angle, and then it just collapsed in on itself, just like it had the
barely see it going off.
The hypnotist kept saying, "Well, who are these people? You know, what do they look like? Can you describe them?" And I said, "Well, they're skinny. They look bony, but I couldn't make out their faces at first. It was just something that was blocking my memory of what these things' faces looked like." And I was very agitated. I didn't know what was going on, and eventually they would take me a little deeper into the hypnotic state, and eventually I was able to see the faces on these things. And when I saw what they were, I completely snapped. I remember screaming, "My God, they're bugs!" And they had a face that looked like an insect, and they had these big like eyes, like insect eyes, that they weren't on the front of their heads, they were more to the side of their heads. The heads weren't vertically oriented like ours, they were a little bit like if you lift your chin up, so they were a little bit more horizontal. They had a large head. I mean, they looked
Different
like
to what they're
insect.
saying, they seem to be saying that that's what the beings look like. I'm really getting the impression that it's some sort of bio armor. I guess I have lots of science fiction movies to fall back on to use my imagination over all this time, but it definitely seems like some sort of bio armor. This creature, as demonstrated by the photos here, it seems to project the image of a grey alien on the carapace of its helmet, which I think it was filming inside the helmet and projecting it onto the outside. This face blinks at me and it opens its mouth. It's looking at me while I'm filming over the roof, and it's using some sort of device on its wrist whilst holding its right arm up. I know this is a really weird story, but it's definitely not pareidolia. I'm not trying to find shapes in bushes and things like that. This thing is real. It's left a footprint there, and I know that area really well. I've left images of that area, what it looks like during the daytime. And you can see the sign behind its head and the pool cues behind it. There is definitely something there. It's definitely moving. At the end of the video, it slinks back into the shadows. I'll leave you with the Allagash UFO incident, the guys describing what happened to them slightly, and footage of one of the craft as well. It doesn't seem dangerous. It doesn't seem malevolent. I think the reason that we're scared by it is purely because it's something literally so alien to us. And once again, much like the sightings, I think this form of just sort of waking up and seeing it in bed, I really think it's some sort of immersion therapy, so I get used to seeing them. But it's what's happening. I'm saying it as it happens. I am sound of mind. I don't have any schizoid tendencies. I don't hear voices. I'm not getting telepathic communications. Beyond, I am getting like this weird static electricity feeling that comes in waves, which the Allagash UFO incident guys actually describe as well, which is really weird to me. I don't think that what we think of as aliens, I'm not sure what they are. Fourth dimensional beings is my best guess, but I have no idea. Life is wonderful. This ride is a really wild ride, and I'm really keen to see where this is going, as well as frightened like hell, very curious, and I just don't know what's going on. So if you stuck around for all of this, I hope you consider the evidence that I have presented to you all. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. I have a lot more videos to share with you guys of some really weird stuff. So thank you again. You all take care. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.